last.
Yes,
What was
sir.
you thinking earlier this year when you got caught cheating in Vegas?
Hey, brother,
Mr.
listen.
Irresponsible.
It's beyond irresponsible.
Kevin Hart, the beloved comedian, the family man, the Hollywood superstar, is now at the center of one of the biggest betrayals in recent memory. A man who once shared laughs, private jets, and champagne toasts with Sean Diddy Combs is now seated firmly on the opposite side of the courtroom. The betrayal wasn't whispered, it wasn't subtle, it was delivered like a dagger to the heart of Diddy's already crumbling empire. Kevin Hart has reportedly turned over evidence that could not only dismantle Diddy's defense, but also expose the darkest corners of his scandalous freak-off parties. And the question we're all asking is why?
Thought Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do documentaries and TV hits.
This isn't just your average Hollywood fallout. This is a betrayal that cuts deep, made even more shocking by the fact that it's Kevin Hart, a man who built his brand on loyalty, on brotherhood, on being the fun-loving guy who always keeps it light. But now, as the prosecution's star witness, Hart's smile is nowhere to be seen. We've seen the footage, the photos, and the leaked clips. There he was, right in the thick of it at Diddy's infamous parties, laughing, sipping, and mingling in environments that now seem far darker than they appeared at the time. And here's the kicker. According to court insiders, Hart didn't just testify. He reportedly handed over a treasure trove of information, videos, receipts, messages, evidence so damning that it could potentially seal Diddy's fate. The courtroom whispers are deafening. They say Hart wasn't just a guest at these parties. No, he was allegedly more involved than anyone might have guessed. Sources close to the investigation claim that Hart was not only present at some of the most controversial moments, but that he played a key role in organizing certain events. And if the rumors are true, this wasn't just about being a good friend to Diddy. No, it was about leverage. Hart, they say, kept a secret archive, a collection of recordings, photos, and documents. As an insurance policy, think about that for a moment. The man who once laughed alongside Diddy at the wildest parties in Hollywood may have been quietly documenting every step, every whisper, every incriminating moment.
To not be involved with a famous singer, to not come out, here's the price. And that they're just selling to the individuals that are in those, this is what I heard, they're selling those videos. So if you're Tommy X, and Tommy X is a big, big movie star, and he was at some of the Diddy parties. He was in one of those bedrooms with 3 other men, and he's happily married to a woman, and blah. Tommy doesn't want that video to come out. He does not want it to come out.
But why? Why would Kevin Hart, a man who seemingly had everything, turn on someone who was once like a brother? Some suggest it was self-preservation. After all, as the investigation into Diddy's alleged crimes intensified, the public spotlight began to shift toward Hart. The leaked party footage, the questionable jokes, the moments that once seemed harmless, they all started to resurface, and not in a good way. One clip, for instance, shows Hart laughing hysterically as a woman's hair caught fire in a hot tub, surrounded by candles. Harmless fun? Perhaps. But now, in the context of Diddy's trial, it feels like something much more sinister. Another video shows Diddy making a bizarre homophobic comment to Hart while urging him to freshen up before the women arrived. The jokes, once laughed off, now carry a weight they didn't before. Could it be that Hart saw the writing on the wall and decided to jump ship before he went down with it? Or is there more to this story? Some insiders speculate that this betrayal has been brewing for years, long before Diddy's arrest. One particularly juicy rumor suggests that Hart felt used and undervalued by Diddy, that he was tired of being the funny guy brought in to entertain guests while Diddy pulled the strings. And then there's the matter of money. Allegations are swirling that Hart may have even financed certain events, unknowingly or otherwise, and that when the truth came out, he was forced to choose between protecting himself or protecting Diddy. If that's true, it's no wonder he chose the former.
My brother right here from day one, we used to wake up and, pause, but like, just out.
But let's not pretend Kevin Hart is an innocent victim here. His own behavior at these parties is being scrutinized like never before. The media frenzy surrounding Diddy's trial has dredged up footage that paints a less than flattering picture of Hart. In one particularly damning clip, he can be seen joking with Diddy about getting the women ready, a statement that now feels loaded with implications. And let's not forget the rumors about his alleged role in organizing these events. If the allegations are true, then Hart wasn't just a bystander. He was an active participant, perhaps even an enabler. And that raises another question. Is this really about justice, or is it about survival? As we dig deeper, another layer of this betrayal comes to light, the alleged insurance policy Hart kept on Diddy. Imagine it, years of parties, years of secrets, all meticulously documented and stored away for a moment just like this. Did Hart know, even back then, that the day might come when he'd have to use it? And if so, what does that say about their friendship? Was it ever real, or was it just another calculated Hollywood alliance? The irony is almost too much to bear. The man who once played the clown at Diddy's parties may now be the one to bring the entire circus crashing down.
I don't know how much. I don't like to say things that I know unless I see it. That there's a little difference, you know. But was it discussed? Was there descriptions from people I know that were at those? Yes, but here's another thing. So how many of these big entertainment parties and over the years and everything, with as successful as you are, have you been around? Does anyone ever come up to you at a certain hour and say, okay, it's time to go? At those parties, they did.
And then there's the most explosive rumor of all, that Hart's motives weren't just about survival, but revenge. According to some sources, there was a falling out between the two men years ago, a quiet feud that never made headlines but simmered beneath the surface. Hart, they say, felt humiliated by Diddy on more than one occasion, and this trial has given him the perfect opportunity to settle old scores. Is it true? We may never know. But the mere possibility adds another layer of intrigue to an already jaw-dropping story. As the trial unfolds, the spotlight on Hart continues to grow brighter, and not in a good way. His silence on the matter has only fueled speculation, and social media is ablaze with questions. Why hasn't he addressed the rumors? Why hasn't he defended himself? And most importantly, why did he turn on Diddy now when the stakes couldn't be higher? Some fans are even questioning his integrity, wondering if the man they thought they knew was just another player in Hollywood's endless game of smoke and mirrors.
So Diddy, did you ever spend time with the guy? Did you ever meet Diddy?
I've met him before, yeah.
How was he?
Very nice guy, very smart, super business. You know, I mean, he's.
But perhaps the most chilling aspect of this entire saga is the possibility that Hart's betrayal was premeditated. Think about it: the parties, the jokes, the camaraderie. Was it all just a facade? Was Hart quietly gathering ammunition the entire time, waiting for the perfect moment to use it? If that's the case, then this isn't just a betrayal, it's a masterclass in deception. And let's be honest, in Hollywood, where friendships are as fleeting as box office hits, is anyone really surprised? As we sit here watching this drama unfold in real time, one thing is clear: Kevin Hart's role in this trial is far from over. Whether he's a hero, a villain, or something in between, his testimony could change everything. And as more details emerge, we're left with more questions than answers. What else does Hart know? What other secrets is he keeping? And most importantly, what will happen when the full truth finally comes to light? But Kevin Hart's involvement in Diddy's trial is only one piece of a much larger, more complicated puzzle. To truly understand Hart's motives, we have to dig deeper into his own history of scandals and questionable behavior, incidents that have left even his most loyal fans scratching their heads. And to start, we can't ignore the fiery feud that's been bubbling between Hart and fellow comedian Cat Williams for years. It's a feud that goes far beyond petty insults, exposing allegations that paint Hart as someone willing to go to any lengths to protect his image and climb higher in Hollywood's hierarchy.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything.
Yet Hart, never one to hold back, set the internet ablaze with his explosive claims about Hart during an interview on Shannon Sharp's podcast. Williams accused Hart of being nothing more than a Hollywood pawn, a puppet, as he put it, handed roles that others, including Williams himself, turned down. And why were these roles rejected? According to Williams, they were humiliating, degrading, and designed to perpetuate harmful stereotypes. Every single movie Kevin Hart did was something that came across my desk first, Williams claimed. All I asked was for the scripts to be tweaked, to take out the nonsense, and they said no, so they gave them to him. The implication was clear. Hart, Williams suggested, was the kind of person who would say yes to anything if it meant keeping his star shining bright.
In 20 years, I never been on a commercial audition in my life. Like, I never let my tour get sponsored when I was broke or now, like.
This paints an interesting picture when we consider Hart's alleged role in Diddy's trial. Could his betrayal of Diddy be part of a larger pattern of self-serving behavior? Williams seemed to think so. In the same interview, he accused Hart of being complicit in perpetuating a system that rewards compliance over creativity, saying, Kevin didn't sell out arenas, he sold out himself. And while these comments were initially dismissed as the rantings of a bitter rival, they take on a whole new meaning in the context of Hart's recent actions. For Kevin Hart, it seems, loyalty only goes as far as his career allows. But Williams isn't the only one who's questioned Hart's integrity. Over the years, a string of scandals has painted a less than flattering picture of the comedian. Take, for instance, the bombshell claims from his former assistant, Miesha, who aired Hart's dirty laundry in a tell-all interview. According to Miesha, Hart has struggled with a serious gambling problem, one that reportedly got so bad he burned through his payroll, leaving employees with half their checks. Could it be that Hart's alleged cooperation with prosecutors is less about seeking justice and more about protecting himself from financial ruin? Was this betrayal a desperate move to shift attention away from his own missteps? The timing is certainly suspicious. Just as Diddy's trial began dominating headlines, Hart's own scandals, his assistant's accusations, his questionable behavior at Diddy's parties, and even past rumors of infidelity started resurfacing. It's almost as if Hart saw the writing on the wall and made a calculated decision to steer the narrative. By cooperating with prosecutors, is he trying to rewrite his own story at Diddy's expense? It's a question we can't help but ask, especially when we consider how much Hart stands to gain or lose, depending on the trial's outcome. And then there's the question of the secret archive. If the rumors are true and Hart really did keep recordings and evidence from Diddy's parties, what else might he have? Could there be documents, photos, or videos that not only incriminate Diddy but also implicate other Hollywood elites? And if so, what does that say about Hart's character? Was he playing the long game all along, quietly gathering ammunition to use when the time was right? Or was this simply a case of self-preservation, a way to ensure he had a safety net in an industry where trust is a rare commodity?
But what people I don't think realized was he had cameras all over the place, unbeknownst to them. And now he has all that footage, supposedly. This is what I'm told. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens if, you're a huge, iconic, TV star or movie star, and you're in some...
The power dynamics between Diddy and Kevin Hart may hold part of the answer. For years, Diddy has wielded immense influence, not just as a music mogul, but as a gatekeeper to Hollywood's most exclusive circles. For someone like Hart, relatively new to the upper echelons of fame when their friendship began, allying with Diddy would have been a strategic move. But at what cost? Was Hart pressured into attending these infamous parties, knowing full well the kind of environment he was stepping into? Hollywood insiders have long whispered about Diddy's ability to pull strings, and it's possible that Hart felt he had no choice but to play along to maintain his access to the industry's most powerful players. In this context, Hart's alleged betrayal of Diddy could take on an entirely different dimension. What if, instead of a calculated act of revenge or survival, it was a moment of liberation? By cooperating with prosecutors, Hart may have been attempting to distance himself from a man who, for years, had allegedly manipulated him into compromising situations. The leaked party footage, after all, doesn't just show Hart laughing at questionable moments. It shows a man who may have been complicit because he felt he had no other option. If this is true, it complicates the narrative. Hart isn't just a betrayer, he's also a survivor, trying to reclaim control over his life.
I'm not sure. I don't buy for a minute that he's going to prison without getting out of here somewhere and stashing $2 billion or whatever. I think he has that kind of power, meaning Sean himself. But remember, it goes a lot deeper than that.
But even this theory raises troubling questions. If Hart truly felt trapped, why didn't he speak out sooner? Why didn't he walk away from Diddy's orbit when the first signs of trouble appeared? Some speculate that the perks of the friendship, the access, the connections, the clout, were too valuable for Hart to give up. After all, Diddy's parties weren't just about indulgence. They were networking events disguised as celebrations. Attending them wasn't just a matter of fun. It was a calculated investment in one's career. Perhaps Hart thought he could navigate the murky waters of Diddy's world without getting pulled under, a gamble that ultimately failed. Adding another layer of complexity is the possibility that Diddy used his power to keep Hart in check. Rumors have surfaced suggesting that Diddy may have held information over Hart's head, ensuring his silence and loyalty. This wouldn't be the first time such allegations have been made about Diddy. Over the years, multiple insiders have accused him of using leverage, whether financial, personal, or reputational, to maintain control over those in his inner circle. If Hart was indeed trapped in this web, his cooperation with prosecutors might represent his first act of defiance, an attempt to free himself from Diddy's influence once and for all. Still, we can't ignore the darker possibility that Hart's betrayal is just another calculated move in a long game of survival. Hollywood is a place where loyalty is often a fleeting concept and self-preservation reigns supreme. By aligning himself with the prosecution, Hart may have ensured not just his survival but also the preservation of his carefully curated public image. If he can position himself as a reluctant participant, someone who was manipulated but ultimately chose the moral high ground, he might emerge from this scandal relatively unscathed. But at what cost? And what does it say about Hollywood as a whole that such betrayals are not only possible but almost expected?
I don't know this, but it just seems very suspicious when you go through and you look at in the history of different people that can make you go away if listen, I've worried about some of the things that I talk about on my show.
The courtroom drama only adds fuel to the fire. Insiders have described the tension as palpable, with Hollywood's elite now on edge, fearing the secrets Hart might reveal under oath. What names might he drop? What events might he expose? One thing is clear. If Kevin Hart has turned on Diddy, no one is safe. In a town built on secrets, loyalty is a luxury few can afford, and Hart may have just made the most dangerous deal of his life. And what about Diddy? If he feels betrayed by Hart, he's not showing it, at least not publicly. But behind the scenes, sources say he's furious, calling Hart's actions a betrayal of the highest order. Some are even speculating that Diddy might have his own dirt on Hart and could be preparing to release it in an effort to discredit him. It's a game of high-stakes chess, with both men holding pieces that could destroy the other. The question is, who will make the next move?
What his team is trying to do is get the public to assume that the government is leaking some of this negative information about him, like that Cassie video. But the reality is, he's got a lot of enemies. And
As the trial continues, we can't help but wonder, how far will Kevin Hart go to protect himself? Is he a victim of circumstance, dragged into Diddy's scandal by association, or is he a master manipulator, using the trial as an opportunity to clean up his own image and settle old scores? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. The fallout from this betrayal will be felt far beyond the courtroom. So what do you think? Has Kevin Hart crossed a line, or is he simply doing what he has to do to survive in the cutthroat world of Hollywood? And if Hart can turn on Diddy, who's next? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, because in a town like this, the story is never really over. Stay tuned, stay curious, and until next time, keep questioning everything.